What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Today, when we logged on at news time, we saw that there is going to be a brand new maintenance coming up with the addition of new limit break abilities arriving for existing characters, which is always exciting to see. Last month, we got a pretty decent batch of characters, and we have a pretty okay batch of characters this time around as well. And in this video, we're going through every single one of these characters, identifying which ones are worth limit breaking and which ones you should really forget about. So first of all, let's start things off with number 365, Capone Gang Bedge. This is one of the oldest rare recruits in the entire game. 365 is his ID. Now, in terms of his limit break, gets some pretty decent attack, pretty okay HP. He does get a sailor ability where he makes sign int beneficial for himself. Unfortunately, it's not for the crew or for a specific color or a specific class. He does get 3 turns of cooldown reduction, but his special ability itself just isn't good. Changing strength and dex into quick just won't see much play just at all. He does get barrier penetration and strength damage reduction, but this character is just so outdated now. There is literally no reason to go ahead and limit break this character whatsoever. Definitely skip this character. Moving on though, we have Bartholomew Kuma, 412. This is the old strength Kuma. Yeah, this guy is also a very, very old rare recruit. He gets, again, pretty similar statistical increases. He boosts the base attack HP and recovery of shooters by 50. He will also make strength orbs beneficial for shooter characters. That's a pretty good sailor ability right there. He does get 7 turns of cooldown reduction, changes adjacent orbs into strength orbs, and deals 1000 fixed damage to all enemies. Okay, that's actually pretty interesting. This character might see play in very niche circumstances. If you are running a shooter-based team, this character would be a very good character to run, especially when there is a situation where there is a stage with lots of high defense and low health mobs. This character is going to be good for that, and the fact that he gives you adjacent orbs into strength, and with his sailor ability in tandem with that, he basically gives you 3 guaranteed matching orbs, so that's actually pretty decent. Dex damage reduction and barrier penetration would have been cool if he got like double special activation or the decreased cooldown would have been really cool. But with most shooter characters, they do get the barrier penetration, which makes a lot of sense. But this character is actually not bad, and in, as I said, niche circumstances, this guy might actually see some play. Moving on now, we have 457 Curiel. Man, all these old rare recruits, man, bringing back hella memories. This guy is also a shooter character, same sort of statistical increases. He already has a natural one, but also will make strength and dex beneficial for himself. So as a sub, he has size, strength, and dex beneficial for himself, but his special ability is kind of shit because it randomizes the orbs in the middle row into either strength or dex, and the lower row get either psi or int, and then you can switch your orbs 2 times, or once. Only one switch of the orbs, and you get 4 turn cooldown reduction, which is good, but I mean, for a special ability like that, it's kind of bad. Slotbind self reduction, barrier penetration. This is definitely a character you do not want to limit break. He is absolutely terrible. Moving on though, 562. This is Legend Ace, I believe. Yes, this is Legend Ace. So let's go ahead and go down to his Super Evolution just because it is the Super Evolution. So here we have Toadskii Ace, one of my old school favorite legends in the game. Man, this guy brings back hella memories, yo. Anyway, stat increases. Very, very good. 350 health, 250 attack, 100 recovery. So he has 1916 with candies after limit break, which is very good. He has 2 sailor abilities, boosting the attack, HP, and shooters by 50, and also will make dex orbs beneficial for shooters. Very, very good potential or limit break ability for his sailor. Dex orbs beneficial, orb enabling for a certain class or a certain color is always going to be worth doing. He gets 2 turns of cooldown reduction, which is great to see. 15 turns for what he did was way too high. Even when he did get like his release with his Super Evolution, like for what he did, it was way too high of a cooldown. 13 turns is a little bit more respectable in terms of what he does, giving you a 2-time shooter boost as well as some pretty nice nuking potential, as long as you do have a lot of health, of course. In terms of his potential abilities, he gets damage reduction against quick enemies, slotbind self reduction up to 10 turns. It would have been nice to completely resist it, but 10 turns is still pretty decent, and barrier penetration, and he completely ignores barriers once that is maxed out. So look, I don't think it's worth doing. He is a good character with his limit break. He does get some nice abilities, but just moving on into the meta and the characters that are about to be releasing on Global, you're never going to use this character if you have Legend Capone. Literally, you're never going to use him. Even if you do have a Legend Capone friend captain, there really isn't much use to using him as a captain. He's a very, very bad captain, only up to 3.25, and that's if you only have a matching orb. 2.25 otherwise. Like, this character is just so outdated. I don't think it's really worth doing, but you know, if you do want to go ahead and do it, and if you do feel like this is a character you're going to be using in the future, then you would go ahead and do it. But I would say hold off on limit breaking this character until there's maybe a treasure map where he's boosted, or there's a specific piece of content that you need him for, then limit break him. He's definitely not a high priority target in my personal opinion. Moving on now to the next limit break character, 647, which is going to be Little Oars Jr. Again, with those throwback rare recruit characters, stat increase. He gets a lot of attack, but I mean, as the character itself, he's not really the greatest. He has make strength orbs beneficial for shooters, very similar to, or the exact same sailor ability as Kuma after his limit break. Deals 20 times attack in strength damage to all enemies and boosts the chance of getting strength orbs for 3 turns. 10 turn cooldown reduction, which is impressive, but for a special ability like that, I really don't think it's worth doing. He does have slot bind self reduction and barrier penetration. Yeah, I think this is another one that you can easily skip. There's just not too many circumstances you would need this specific character literally at all. Moving on though, Duval, 654, which is the raid boss Duval. Okay, he's getting his limit break up to 5 socket spots now, which is good. Stats are pretty bad still, unfortunately. Only 1200 attack, even after limit break, is very, very low. He will make strength orbs beneficial for himself. Would have been nice if it was for Dex characters or for the whole crew. Cuts the current HP of each enemy by 20% and reduce damage by 50% for a turn. At an 11 turn cooldown after limit break is okay, and he has quick damage reduction and barrier penetration. Nah, this is another character that you just literally don't need for anything. He is severely outdated. Even on his release, he was kind of a bad character. There's no reason to limit break this character at all. 779, Rebecca. Is that the Colosseum Rebecca? It is the Colosseum Rebecca. This character, again, is another character that's like not really that good, so preemptively, without even me reading anything, I would say no, but let's go ahead and get into it. 5 socket spots after limit break. Stats, extremely low still. Look at a captain effect. Reduce damage received by 25%, and that is it. Boost base attack of characters by 50. Boost amount healed from recovery rolls by 300. That is actually pretty significant. Deals several times this character's attack and quick damage to one enemy, and gives herself a quick orb, 6 turn cooldown, and also will get slot mine self reduction and strength damage reduction. Yeah, this is a character you can definitely skip out on. Rebecca has never been a good character even upon a release, and the limit break really didn't help her out all that much. So unfortunately, Rebecca is going to be a character that you can really miss out on. 806. I have no idea which smoker this is. Oh, Colosseum Smoker. Okay, this character on his release was actually really good. This character is an orb booster, if I remember correctly. Pretty okay stat. The attack is still pretty low. He makes indoors beneficial for striker and driven characters. Okay, that is a very good, very, very good limit break sailor ability. For 2 separate classes, they make an orb beneficial, which is amazing. And when HP is below a certain threshold, you get 100 attack. It would have been nice if it was the whole crew's attack, but it is only just for himself. So he will go ahead and reduce the crew's HP by 20%, deal 10 times the amount that was subtracted in int damage to a single enemy, and gives you a 1.75 orb boost on an 11 turn cooldown. This is looking okay. He has side damage reduction and slot bind self reduction. For a free-to-play character, this is an easy rainbow, but that is a very good sailor ability that might actually see play. So if you are running mainly striker and driven teams, this might be a character that you might want to look into, but the fact that he is a character that reduces your own HP, which isn't always that useful, and he is only a 1.75 orb booster, and it is only for 1 turn. So for a player that already has a lot of rare recruits or a lot of legends and stuff, this might not be a character that you're going to go for. Like, looking at my character box, I just wouldn't need to, like, max limit break this guy at all. I can't even think of the last time I even used a pure striker team. It's been a long time. So Again, this is going to be a character where I'd say don't prioritize it. If you end up using this character for something specifically, or you need someone on your crew that can make int orbs beneficial for strikers and driven characters, then this might be a character to go for. But, you know, just looking at it, there's already a lot of characters that can make int orbs beneficial for driven. You've got the int rare recruit Pika and also the Dex limited rare recruit Akainu. Both of those will make int beneficial, so if you have those two characters, or at least one of them, I don't think this character is worth doing overall. Number 865, Boa Hancock. Okay, so this might be the raid boss Boa Hancock. It is. Okay, this is good to see. You know, it was kind of interesting when we got the Neo Boa Hancock, and the Neo version was just a literal upgrade to the original raid boss version. However, let's have a look at this limit break for the original raid boss, because this might actually change the tide here. 5 socket spots, a big plus. Statistics looking okay. Recovery's very good. HP's a little low. Attack's passable. You know, obviously captain ability doesn't change. Makes sight orbs beneficial for shooters. That is a very good sailor ability that we'll definitely see play. Obviously, we're moving into more shooter-based, you know, characters coming out, so this is going to be a good character to have. She also doesn't have any changes with her specials. She's a 2.5 chain locker for 2 turns, as well as giving you a delay, but she gets 2 turns of cooldown reduction. So 12 turn cooldown for what she does, I think, is actually pretty good. And in terms of her abilities, she has int damage reduction and barrier penetration. This is going to be another character where it's like, you know, I don't think that you should prioritize doing it, but, you know, if you're in the circumstances where you need to use this specific character, then it's going to be worth doing, because, you know, sight orbs beneficial for shooters, that's always going to be useful. However, if I remember correctly, I believe, I want to make sure I can check this before I actually say this. Yeah, so Legend Capone as a captain already makes Sign int orbs beneficial for shooter characters. So, you know, if you have this character, then having the Boa Hancock as a limit break might not be the best of options. But, you know, that's completely up to you. I don't think she's going to be that worth it, especially because the Neo version of her is just better, because she has a better special. But, you know, it's there. The option's there if you do want to go ahead and do it. Moving on, though, we have Scratchman Apu 882, which is, I think, is that the Colosseum? Yeah, okay, so this character on release was used a lot, being a shooter and a free spirit type booster, so it's going to be interesting to see what they've done with his potential abilities and his sailor abilities. So, here we go. Stats, pretty bad, unfortunately. 1290 attack is so low, bro. It's so low. Boost the base HP of shooter and free spirit by 100. When any other character uses a special, reduce own cooldown by 2 turns. Wow, okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. He doesn't get any cooldown reduction, which is quite unfortunate to see. But, you know, if you use, you know, another couple specials, that's a lot of cooldown you can get. Honestly, there are situations where you could potentially use this guy multiple times in a run, just by, you know, using it on a very early stage and then using some specials, getting more cooldown reduction, and then taking it into another room. So that's interesting. That is very interesting that at 2 turns, it would have been nice if it was maybe 3 or 4 turns, just to make sure that, you know, you can use it stage 4 and stage 5. You can still do that here, but you literally have to use every single other special on your team, which is, it might be difficult to do. But in terms of what he does, as I said before, he's a shooter and free spirit, 1.75 type booster. But he also gives you a lot of negative effects. He increases your damage taken and reduces your recovery for 2 turns. But in turn, you obviously get that type boost. So, you know, there's lots of free spirit and shooter type boosters now. Might not be the best option, but if you do not have a good free spirit or a good shooter type booster, this is going to be a good character to go ahead and max out for sure. But then let's move on to the next one, which is going to be Cyborg Frankie 901, which is... Okay, this is the Colosseum Frankie. Okay, this guy's not that good. He gets 5 socket spots now, good to see. Stats, pretty bad. Makes strength orbs beneficial for this character and dex orbs for shooter characters. Always good to have beneficial orb enable, of course. Deals 6 hits of 2000 fixed damage to random enemies, and for shooter and free spirit characters, randomizes badly matching orbs into G orbs or matching orbs. Okay, again, not the greatest, really. You get a lot of cooldown reduction. You get down, what, by 9 turns, which is great. And he also has slotbind self-reduction and barrier penetration. Nah, I would say skip it. He's just not a good character. You don't need this specific character for content. This, again, is another easy skip character. So far, like not really much of these potential abilities or any of these limit breaks have really, like, stood out to me. A lot of them are relatively average characters. Moving on though, we're going to go to Capone Gang Bedge, which is 1016, so 1016, which is the Colosseum version. Again, a character that really doesn't see much play. 5 sockets, my bad. Good stats. If this character has an int orb and you hit it perfect, you keep it for the next turn, as well as giving shooters 50 attack. He has an int type booster, only 1.5 though, but can be up to a 3-turn 1.5 booster. 8-turn cooldown, side damage reduction, barrier penetration. Yeah, this character is not really that good. I would say skip this character. You just don't need him for content. Moving on, 1240. We got a legend coming up, which is Borsellino. So Borsellino, unfortunately, his 6+ was pretty underwhelming. I mean, that's yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, he's one of the worst 6+s in the game. I think a lot of people would agree. He does get an extra socket spot, of course, which is good to see. Pretty good stats across the board, going up to 1962 attack with cotton candies. Now, he also gets a lot of recovery as well. That's actually really good for his special because he does recover. He goes down, I don't think, does he get any cooldown reduction? It doesn't look like he gets any cooldown reduction, that's pretty bad to see. Would have been nice to see some cooldown. He gets int damage reduction, reduce no healing, barrier penetration, and he completely resists paralysis, makes sight orbs beneficial for shooter and slashers. That's really good, but as I said before, with Legend Capone coming out, he already makes sight orbs beneficial for shooters, so that's not really that desirable. But for slasher characters, that might see some play. If you still are using this character in content, then maybe you might want to do that. I mean, Borsellino is just such a disappointing legend. I just don't think it's worth doing because you just don't need him for content. You just don't. It's quite unfortunate to say, but it's just how it is. You just don't need it. We've got Margaret here, 1378. Let's go ahead and have a look at Margaret. You know, this is really unfortunate because a lot of these characters in this Limit Break batch are very, very bad. It's quite harsh to see because we already had a really good batch of Limit Break characters last month, and heading into this month I was like, okay, let's see which characters we got this time around, and unfortunately we just haven't met the mark here in my personal opinion. So here we have Margaret. She's a Dex shooter slasher, 5 socket spots after Limit Break, pretty bad stats. She will change all orbs into recovery at the start of the fight. That's interesting. If you guys have Gear 4 Luffy Tankman, this might be a good sub for that if you don't have characters like the Wild Sanji or Chobro, because it allows you to get a full board of recovery orbs, and then you can eat 6 recovery orbs at the start of the fight to fill up your gauge of your Gear 4 for your Tankman special ability. So I think that that's actually not too bad. That's like a niche circumstance where you could use this character, but in terms of what she does, she heals and reduces damage taken. The healing isn't that significant. It's 13-turn cooldown. I just don't think she's really worth running. She gives you damage reduction and barrier penetration. Yeah, this is, again, unfortunately, another character that you can really miss out on. Okay, moving on, we have 1406. I'm not too sure which character this is. 1406. Wow, okay, I thought this Usopp already had a Limit Break. Apparently not. So this character has 5 socket spots after Limit Break. Bad stats, reduces blindness by 3 turns, which is okay. Very niche though, and if you have Legend Usopp, well, he basically will help you get rid of all of that anyway. Anyways, I forgot what he does. He gives you a 1.75 attack and orb boost to shooters if the enemy has a debuff or delay, or full debuff protection or delay protection. Okay, fair enough. 12-turn cooldown, and we'll also go down to int damage reduction and also barrier penetration. No, not really. He's not that useful. Like, again, it's just a character you don't need to max out. Rizo. Okay, surely. Come on. 1660. Surely this is going to be a good character. Like, Rizo is a good character. I think so far, out of all the characters that we've talked about, this is probably the character that you would use most often. He has very good utility, and I'm hoping they gave him some really good abilities here. So, 5 socket spots. Good to see. Stats. Pretty passable. He makes strength, quick, dex, sign, int beneficial for himself, which is kind of unfortunate. It would have been better if he gave you a matching orb of some sort, but, you know, it is what it is. Reduces paralysis and silence by 3 turns and gives you 3 orb swaps. And he goes down to a 9-turn cooldown, so an extra cooldown is quite good for what he does. And dex damage reduction and barrier penetration. It's unfortunate, but they really could have made him better. It is what it is, though. Like, this is a character that, again, like what we said earlier with some other characters, you don't need to do it straight away, but if you ever use him in a piece of content, maxing his Limit Break would be worth it because you get the cooldown reduction, and he's going to have lots of matching orbs for himself, so, you know, it is what it is. Are there any more characters here? We have, yeah, and then just the super evolution of Borsellino and Ace. Man, that's actually really disappointing, man. That is extremely disappointing. I'm really looking forward to Raid Rayleigh's Limit Break. That is going to be a fantastic day for One Piece Treasure Cruise Global. That character is phenomenal with his Limit Break. But anyways, you know, it is what it is. Which characters are worth doing overall, just kind of like a TLDR. Which characters were good. Bartholomew Kuma was actually pretty impressive. I'm really happy with what they did with him, making him more of a speedier character. You can use his special more often, and he also, you know, when he gives you adjacent orb strength, makes them beneficial for shooters with his new sailor ability. So I think Bartholomew Kuma, honestly, is probably the most impressive character out of all of these so far. Obviously, Legend Ace is okay, but there aren't many circumstances where you would need to use a character like this. And then also, where is he? Smoker. Smoker was also pretty interesting as well, giving int orbs beneficial for Driven and Striker. So if you do need that ability, that would be worth it as well. Boa Hancock is good, but I still think Neo Boa Hancock is slightly better. Even with all the sailor abilities and stuff, I do think Neo version is still better. If you need a good type booster for Shooter and Free Spirit, Scratchman and Apu might be worth it, but still, I still think that, you know, there are a lot of other better Free Spirit and Shooter type boosters in the game that maxing him out isn't really a necessity. He was bad. Borsellino, I mean, if you're still using Borsellino, you might as well do it, but he's not really that great. And Raizo, I guess he's okay. He's still a really good character, great utility, but they really didn't change that much or give him that many more beneficial effects to make it worth going ahead straight away and limit breaking the character. So unfortunately, this time around, we got a pretty bad batch of limit break characters. Last month was way better. We had so many good characters, but it is what it is. Hopefully next month we get another batch of limit break characters, and they're going to be very, very strong. We'll have to wait and see for that, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.